Novak Djokovic hit with brutal prediction after Australian Open disappointment as Novak Djokovic's final forehand drifted long on a warm Melbourne night. The silence that followed felt heavier than just a lost point. For the first time in his storied career, the Serbian legend walked away from an Australian Open final without the trophy in his hands. The hunt for a historic 25th Grand Slam title continues, but the defeat at the hands of Carlos Alcaraz, 6-2, 2-6, 3-6, 5-7, has sparked uncomfortable questions about whether time has finally begun to catch up with tennis' most relentless champion. For nearly 2 decades, Djokovic and the Australian Open have been inseparable. Melbourne Park has been his fortress, the stage where he built an aura of inevitability and dominance. 10 titles, countless epic comebacks, and an unmatched record under pressure made him Mr. Australian Open. That's precisely why this loss felt different. It wasn't just another final defeat. It was the first crack in a partnership that once seemed untouchable. In the aftermath, a brutally honest discussion unfolded on the Nothing Major show on YouTube, where former American pros didn't hold back. Sam Querrey posed the question many fans were quietly asking. Could Djokovic still reach the very top in a men's game now dominated by youth and explosive athleticism? Jack Sock's response was blunt. I don't think he's making another final this year, in my opinion, Sock said. It was a statement that landed hard, especially given Djokovic's history of defying predictions. Sock elaborated, pointing not to a lack of skill, but to the physical demands of modern Grand Slam tennis. Djokovic, who will turn 39 later this year, has always relied on extraordinary fitness, flexibility, and mental toughness. But Sock questioned whether that edge can still carry him through 5-set marathons against players nearly half a generation younger. He's been Mr. Australian Open throughout his career. He might have wanted it a little more, Sock added. It will be a very light year for him on the schedule side. But I don't know if a 39-year-old Novak will have the same juice at a French Open trying to grind out 5 sets against these young bucks. That comment cuts to the heart of Djokovic's current reality. Unlike earlier phases of his career, he is no longer chasing ranking points or playing a packed calendar. His focus has shifted decisively toward longevity and peak performance at select events. While that approach has worked in recent years, it also means fewer matches, less rhythm, and potentially tougher draws when he does step onto the big stages. Despite the disappointment in the final, Djokovic's Australian Open campaign was anything but ordinary. At 38 years, 8 months, and 9 days, he became the second oldest finalist in tournament history, trailing only Ken Rosewall. Few would have predicted such a run at the start of the event, especially after his semi-final clash with world number 2 Jannik Sinner. That match alone was a reminder of why Djokovic remains one of the sport's greatest competitors. Facing a player widely seen as the future of men's tennis, Djokovic survived a punishing 5-set battle, 3-6, 6-3, 4-6, 6-4, 6-4, showcasing tactical brilliance and mental resilience that still separate him from almost everyone else on tour. Former big server John Isner highlighted just how improbable that win was. Sinner entered the semifinal as a massive betting favorite, underlining how little faith outsiders had in Djokovic's chances. Sinner was a minus 1,300 betting favorite, which says how big of an underdog Novak was in the semis, Isner noted. Winning the game after being down 2-1 and losing the match on every single stat, but he was so good tactically and mentally to make the finals at almost 39. Those words underscore the paradox of Djokovic's current phase. On one hand, the physical gaps between him and the new generation are widening. On the other, his tennis IQ, adaptability, and mental strength remain unmatched. That combination is still powerful enough to carry him deep into majors. But whether it's enough to lift another trophy is now a genuine debate. Carlos Alcaraz's triumph in the final symbolized the changing of the guard many have long anticipated. The Spaniard's blend of power, speed, and fearlessness exposed the fine margins Djokovic must now navigate. Where Djokovic once dictated terms, he now finds himself having to absorb relentless pressure, relying on precision rather than dominance. Looking ahead, Djokovic's schedule suggests caution rather than urgency. He is expected to return to action in Doha next month, but his overall calendar is likely to remain selective. That strategy may preserve his body, but it also fuels speculation that opportunities for another major final and that elusive 25th slam are becoming increasingly rare. Still, writing off Novak Djokovic has never been a safe bet. He has built his career on silencing doubters, turning adversity into motivation, and finding solutions where others see limits. The predictions from Sock and others may be harsh, but they also reflect a sport in transition, where even legends must confront time. Whether this Australian Open marked the beginning of the end or simply another dramatic chapter in Djokovic's remarkable story remains to be seen. What is certain is that every match he plays from here on will carry added weight. The chase continues, but now, the margin for error has never been smaller.